Our children. Central New York broadcasters all teamed up in a rare cooperative effort tonight to help raise awareness about child abuse. Our special, Protecting Our Children, aired on all the local networks tonight. Before, during, and after the program, the Onondaga County Child Abuse Response Team took calls from people answering questions about the issues of abuse. See Michael Benny there, and now suddenly, here he is, joining us for the Talk at 10, as he does every night. And actually watching that right off the top, it kind of inspires me to say it really has been a pleasure working with different people, whether it be the folks at Channel 9 or YNN or WCNY.
Yeah, it has.
To get to know people better than what we might otherwise, share some studio space and being on camera and working on these stories.
Because we all know each other, but we don't work together every day.
Right,
and
right.
we don't dislike each other. A lot of people think, how do you all work together like that? Well, we put aside all the competitive differences for something that's more important than all of us.
And
that was the case.
Yeah, and even from the core group that started, which was primarily the television stations, then we had Clear Channel Radio, but then some more radio came in. Syracuse.com was streaming it tonight and is available on just about everybody's website tonight too. So there's a lot of outlets, including what is now probably going to be the next step of creating a DVD that can be used for future education. Which
There's already demand for it.
I think that's going to be pretty effective, don't you?
I do. I think the whole thing from start to finish was great. It's an hour of television that goes by quite quickly. It's posted right now on our website at comycentral.com. The folks who were, we should take a step back and say, even before this aired tonight, it already had impact in just the promotion of it.
Yes.
There was a woman who walked into the studios at WCNY with her granddaughter and said, I need to talk to somebody because I believe this child is being abused. We said from the beginning, if this helps one child, it was worth all the effort.
Which 3 months ago almost felt like it was a cliche, but it turns out that it really was a great reward for those who put time in on it.
And now we know we really meant it.
And then later,
because I felt that.
Exactly. And then later in the evening, Julie Cecil, who's the executive director for McMahon Ryan, came and said we had another one, that a similar story of a woman coming to McMahon Ryan, and again, I have a child who I think's been abused. So there's two. And then there were the phone calls, and Michael and I were both out at WCNY studios doing live broadcasts and interviews during our respective newscasts from 5 to 6:30 tonight, and we talked to most of the people you're seeing here who are manning these phones. Some are in law enforcement, some work with social services, some are McMahon Ryan, and that was a fascinating experience too. These are truly the frontline players. We've dropped in on this issue to cover it over the last couple of months or so now.
They live it every day.
But they live it every day. The one woman I talked to who's been in with social services for 38 years, Mary, and she said she was quite proud of the work they do, which I thought was interesting. I said, how has it changed? And I expected her to talk about how family structures have changed, but she said, we're a lot better at dealing with this now as professionals. They're staffed better. They know more about how the right dynamics to utilize when they're dealing with a case of potential abuse. It used to be that they would secretly investigate somebody who's being abused. Now they start with, right off the bat,
a knock on the door.
A knock on the door.
Someone called.
We're going to be looking. We're going to be looking into what's happening here.
We put that phone number out there for people to call during both the morning television broadcasts and the evening broadcasts.
Yeah.
And I was curious. I thought to myself, okay, we'll give folks a number to call to be put in touch with these experts. Will anyone really pick up the phone and call?
Oh, they did.
And I was stunned when the phone started ringing at 5 o'clock tonight as we were standing out there live. I really didn't expect that many people to call. Between 5 and 6 o'clock alone, they took 65 phone calls. That's more than a call a minute from all over Central New York with people who have questions, concerns, some of them wanting to report suspected abuse. I thought that was huge.
And those weren't brief phone calls either.
No, they were not.
I got to say that of watching the special tonight, and tonight was the first time I saw it in its entirety, even though we were part of it, your interview with the pedophile really was interestingly enough, enlightening, despite the way it had to be shot. That was frightening to hear how he convinced someone in his own household, a child.
His 10-year-old adopted daughter used her love for him. Says the little girl, she was available to him because not a lot of people were paying attention to her. She was sort of a little forgotten child. So he capitalized on that, used her love for him as a weapon, and groomed her, groomed all the other family members, and groomed every situation so that she would be available for really what amounted to his sexual pleasure. His wife was going through a depression and was not available for him sexually. He saw the child as a suitable replacement, and his interview is sickening and it's enlightening. And his counselor tonight contacted me by email. She watched, she's in Florida, she watched on our website, and she said, I forwarded it to my husband. He watched it on the computer, and he called me up and he said, this is what you deal with every day? She's been in this business for 30 years, counseling abusers. And tonight, the husband, her partner of 30 years, got it. That this is what she does every day.
And one expert said to me today, no child should be asked to bear the secret of an adult or be told to keep a secret by an adult. And that's, in essence...
It's at the heart of this.
Exactly, that's exactly right. We learned a lot, and I hope you take the time, if you didn't see it tonight.
And so proud to have done this.
Yes.
Really, I really do feel pride in doing this.
Yeah, I would agree. Watch it on our website, cnycentral.com. It's on YouTube. It's in many places where you can access it right now. Michael, thanks for your contribution to the program and for joining us in the Talk at 10 as you do every night. Not too late to join the conversation. Many of you have offered your thoughts on Facebook tonight about what you thought of the program, how you'd like to see it viewed all across New York State. That's a good idea, too. We'll work on that for you, too. Post your comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say.